I remember it as if it was yesterday. In October 2022, I was at work when I tuned into a Silent Hill live stream to discover that they had announced what would become one of my most anticipated games of this year, Silent Hill F. Now fast forward 3 years, and I finally get to have my hands on the game. And what better way to satisfy that craving I've had for the past 3 years than platinuming the game? And let me tell you guys, this one was quite the journey. Hi, as a brief introduction, my name is SD Kato and I'm a competitive fighting game player that also loves to 100% games of all genres, as you can see here. And if you're watching this video, you are tuning into the first of many that I will be making about my experiences platinuming games. With that out of the way, let's get into what you guys came to see. What to expect from this platinum. This platinum consists of 57 trophies, 24 are missable, 18 are linked to story events and endings, 6 are linked to collectibles, 2 to grind-based activities, 6 linked to difficulty, and 1 for the platinum itself. I'd also like to say ahead of time that for this video specifically, I will be trying my best to avoid spoilers, so for certain key moments or events in the game, I will be keeping the description somewhat vague. As much as I would like to walk you through every single event in the game, I do think this game is a masterpiece and should still be experienced as it was intended, so please keep that in mind. Since this game has numerous missable trophies, I would recommend saving your game in multiple save slots so that you can replay certain sections during your playthroughs to retry certain missable trophies. The game has a ton of save points, and you aren't penalized for using any of them regardless of difficulty, so really take advantage of this. I will put a note at the top of the screen to indicate if a missable trophy is incoming, so you know when to save or replay sections. Silent Hill F has 5 total endings to unlock. The first one you will get by default on your first playthrough. Ending 2, 3, and 5 are accomplished in New Game Plus by satisfying specific requirements. And finally, Ending 4, which is considered to be the true ending, can only be achieved if you have 2 different endings on your save file. It can either be a combination of ending 1 plus 2, 1 plus 3, or 1, 2, 3. Ending 5 does not count towards this, so please keep that in mind as well. I would like to note before we begin that it is possible to save scum ending 2, 3, and 5. This can be done when you pick up the Sacred Sword. Immediately after picking up the Sacred Sword, you'll want to save your game, or you can also make a save right before you pop the UFO ending. But for the purposes of this video, I will be doing all playthroughs in their entirety without the save scum. So if you are looking to do the save scum, this is the general format that you'd want to do it in, but I will not be showing that here. This video will be broken up into 5 different parts. 5 for the 5 different playthroughs that I did, as long as which ending I sought to achieve in each playthrough and the order of trophies I unlocked throughout, along with the mistakes I made so that you don't make the same mistakes either. I will be highlighting important save points so that you know there is a missable trophy incoming so that you can easily replay that save throughout this video, so do not worry too hard about missing things. So now, let's get into it. For my first playthrough, I chose to play through hard difficulty on both action and puzzle, but you can choose any that you prefer. I did not want to do Lost in the Fog yet, because I wanted to earn some upgrades in my first playthrough or two to carry into New Game Plus. As the game begins, we are introduced to Hinako, who after an argument with her father, leaves to go meet up with some friends, when things start to get a little strange in good old Silent Hill fashion. As you go to meet Hinako's friends, I would like to note that the first missable trophy in the game will be right after the cutscene of Hinako meeting with her friends. A chase sequence will initiate, and in order for this trophy to pop, you'll need to escape the fog monster without being hit. I did not look at the trophy list for my first playthrough since I wanted to play the game blind at first without worrying about them, so I ended up missing this. But I ended up getting it in a later playthrough. If at any point of the chase you take damage or get grabbed by any of the tentacles on the wall, you can just stand in place and let the fog monster kill you, and it will just let you start back over where you're still able to unlock the trophy. After escaping the fog monster, you'll have a good amount of time to explore Ebisugaoka, sorry if I butchered that, for a while until you reach an area that forces you to clear out all enemies. Following this, Hinako goes absolutely ham on some poor creatures to where you are then transported to the other world, popping the first unmissable story trophy, Surrounded by Fog. Right after Surrounded by Fog pops, you will find yourself in what is called the Shrine Path, where immediately you will solve a puzzle that requires you to place 5 different items on pedestals to open up the next area. This puzzle is not linked to any trophy, but the next room is linked to a missable that I ended up missing on my first playthrough. You will need to flip these wooden slabs to reveal a 3-symbol passcode to a door, but while you are doing this, there will be an enemy that will continuously aggro on you until you get out of the room. Killing this enemy will only disable him temporarily, and he does respawn if you take too long. The trophy is to make it out of this area without getting hit by the monster. So my tip here is to figure out what the passcode is, then reload this area or let the monster kill you, and then run straight to the lock without flipping any of the pieces of wood since you know what the passcode is already. Unlocking this area will pop this missable trophy. If you are able to pop that trophy unlike me in that section, you will also pop an additional trophy after being transported back to the real world called The Fox's Guidance, which is the second unmissable story trophy of the game. Moving forward after a short exploration period, and after your first run-in with one of these big boys, you will soon find yourself at a field where you will need to solve a puzzle that has you pull out nails from 5 different scarecrow. There's a missable trophy here where you will need to pull out the nail from all 5 without making a mistake. In order to unlock this easily, if you happen to choose the wrong scarecrow at any point, you can immediately pause and reload an autosave. Or you can play through the entire section and then reload a save from the beginning of this area with all of the scarecrows memorized. I did not unlock this in my first playthrough since I did not know it was a trophy, but I will get this in a later playthrough. After making it through this area, we reunite with everyone's favorite character and friends. Rinko then shows why she is such a good friend to Hinako, which then transitions us back over into the Otherworld section known as the Corridors, popping our next unmissable story trophy, Scarecrow's Whispers. Minute before we got a trophy. After working your way through the corridors, you will come face to face with your first real boss battle. Which, I will be honest, gave me some good old-fashioned BTA for a good minute.
Hold up. Oh fuck, I ran out of stamina.
But just like any hard boss, we started making adjustments and improving.
So like, boom, boom, boom. Fuck.
But still dying for a while. Once you reach her second phase, she will start teleporting away and will ring a bell that will do damage to you if you do not make it to her in time. This section is pretty easy to deal with if you have spatial audio or headphones where you can easily tell the direction of sounds, because all you need to do is follow these sounds and whack her before she finishes her charging animation, and if you beat the fight without her being able to hurt you with this bell attack, you will pop the trophy, The Sound of Silence, which I ended up popping on accident during this fight.
Dude, she has... Yes! Yes! Defeat without getting hit by the Suzu Bell attack. Nice.
Soon after this boss fight, you will enter an unmissable cutscene where the Fox Mask gets you to drink some forbidden Baja Blast, bringing you back into the real world, and popping your next story-related trophy, Cleansed.
Oh shit, let's go.
Not too long after spending some good quality time with our best friends Rinku and Shu again, you will naturally reach the middle school area, popping the next story-based trophy, On the Way to School. After finishing a series of puzzles in the middle school area, you will then reunite with Rinko and Shu, which will then transport you to the Otherworld Worship Hall, popping your next story trophy, Shell of the Past. Once inside the Worship Hall, there will be an eastern and western area where each will have their own key that you'll need to retrieve. This next missable trophy is applicable only to the eastern section of this area. Once here, there will be rooms with a blue light that will permanently prevent enemies from resurrecting if they are killed in these rooms. To pop this missable trophy, you just need to kill 8 enemies in these blue areas to pop your next trophy, No One Left Behind.
Stop a certain number of enemies behind the white rabbit crystal. Oh, perfect.
Once you pop this trophy, you can just naturally play through the entirety of the worship hall until you reach a cutscene with the fox mask, bringing you once again back to the real world and popping the next story trophy, the farewell party.
Hey, okay.
You will progress in this next area until you trigger a scripted chase sequence with the fog monster again, which is your cue that another missable trophy is in this part. Similar to the first chase, you will pop this trophy if you again do not get hit by anything or take damage. So, at any point during the chase, if you take damage, you can just let the fog monster kill you and you can try again until you succeed. I happened to miss this trophy during this playthrough, so I will show later when I eventually did pop it. If done correctly, it should pop Agile Escape right when the cutscene triggers. After the chase cutscene, if you walk over to this big tree right here on the map, you will pop the next trophy, O Divine Tree, for discovering the 1,000-year cedar. This tree will be important for your New Game Plus endings, but it is not important right now. After naturally progressing again, you will reach a house while looking for Shu that prompts an unmissable story trophy, a dangerous path after the cutscene is completed here. For this next area called the main hall, you can clearly play through this naturally until you reach the next major boss fight, where you now have access to a very cool but new power.
I can't control the beast inside!
Throughout the fight, these minions will gradually spawn and charge at you if they get set on fire. The missable trophy for this boss fight is to complete it without getting hit by the minions. If you do get hit by any, feel free to let the boss kill you and then you can retry this challenge. I happened to miss this trophy in this playthrough as well, but thankfully I made lots of different saves on multiple files, so I went back to get it later.
Yes!
Even if you didn't unlock this trophy, you will automatically get a trophy after the death cutscene, called
mode
Plucked Wings, when you are transported again back to the real world. After that cutscene, you will then play through a very long section as you navigate through 3 versions of the Shimizu residence until you reach the end and fight what may be my favorite boss fight of this playthrough, Asian Parents. This fight is just insanely thought out, and I love everything from the dialogue they have with Hinako mid-fight to the fact that you have to manage fighting 2 people at once.
Oh! The big monster was the dad? This whole time that was the dad? Oh my god. Yo, I'm getting chills. This dialogue is fire. It's interesting because the mother is blind turning. Oh my god! Did you hear? Okay, you guys are not seeing what Dash just said in the Twitch chat, but he said it's interesting because the mother is blind, turning a blind eye to the father's actions. Oh my god. Oh my.
In order to pop the trophy for this fight, all you need to do is kill the dad monster first, and you will pop Just Shut Up for Once Dad.
Yes! Oh my god. Alright, 13 trophies.
Just after this fight, a cutscene will trigger where Hinako pulls an Akira, which then pops the next story trophy.
What the fuck? Oh yeah.
I don't want peace.
No, I'm here to
I
burn
want
bridges.
problems, always!
That's awesome.
Once you get transported to the other world again, you will now be in the treasure hall. You can make a save here as there is a trophy linked to finding all of the crests in this area without making a mistake. This just means that you have to open all the correct doors within the same run. I did not pop this trophy yet, but I did find the legendary sheep.
Oh my god! We got sheep!
As you finish the treasure hall section, you will reach another unmissable story trophy, Solar and Lunar Eclipse, when you transport back to the real world.
Oh shit. Doors to a secret world.
Right as this cutscene ends, you immediately initiate a sequence where you need to chase after the fog monster. You can try to run past all the enemies, and you know you will have caught up when this animation triggers.
Why do you look like... Oh, ow! That kinda hurt my ears.
As you continue to chase the monster, you will encounter these belly monsters along the way that you will have to kill in order to clear the path. But once the path is cleared, you can continue speeding past to catch up with the fog monster once again. Rinse and repeat this 3 times until the trophy is popped.
Oh, what is this? Caught up with the fog monster.
After you make it through this entire area, you will reach a cutscene where Mother Miranda gives us a very nice hand hug, and we are transported once again, where you guessed it, we unlock another story trophy, the Path of Self-Preservation. You will then be transported immediately back to the real world this time with the Fox Arm Hinako, where you will make your way back up to your house, which will trigger a cutscene where Mother Miranda hand hugs your parents this time, popping the next story trophy, the Path of Exaltation.
What? I accept.
Progressing ahead, in this final area you will then fight the final boss of ending number 1, but this time Hinako has 3 lives when she fights. If she dies, she gets resurrected, but if you can beat this boss battle without resurrecting, you will pop the missable trophy, the bird that flies highest. I missed this trophy, but went back to the previous save to pop it right when I finished ending 1. Immediately after beating the final boss, you will get transported to an assortment of familiar areas, and once you reach the end of this running sequence, you will trigger ending number 1 and its associated trophy. You will then also pop your difficulty related trophies. In this case, I was playing hard for both action and puzzle mode, which pops 1 puzzle trophy and 2 action difficulty trophies, since the action ones are stackable.
How many trophies? 1 trophy. 2 trophies.
Because I didn't want to immediately start my second playthrough, I replayed the final boss fight and Rinko boss fight to unlock the 2 boss related trophies I missed earlier.
Yes! We got it. Killed him without dying once. There we go. Easy peasy. We didn't need it anyways, you're right.
That concludes playthrough 1, and that brings us to... For playthrough 2, I played the game until I reached the shrine path again, but this time I was able to not take damage, unlocking Untouchable, which I missed in my first playthrough. As you go through playthrough 2, make sure you are collecting all of the collectibles as well as upgrades and preparing all of the Jizo statues. I will not be showing all the locations for each of these items, but I will be putting a guide below so that you can follow along as you play. With this said, make sure that you also open up Sakuko's mailbox before heading on to the Scarecrow section of the game. We then play up until the Scarecrow section and replay this until we get Acupuncture Specialist, since we missed this in the first playthrough as well. After finishing the Otherworld section that follows the Scarecrow puzzle, we need to backtrack to the general store after returning to the real world for the third time to fight the big monster here in order to pop "Go away, you'll ruin the shop's reputation." You can now play through a large chunk of the game. Just make sure you are grabbing all of the Imas, Omomoris, and Jizo statue offerings, and eventually you will reach this point I have, where I grab the last Omomori to pop Omomori Sage. We then go through the Sugisato Fog Chase without taking damage, and we pop the other trophy that we missed in playthrough 1, Agile Escape. Following this, if you continue playing up until Shu's residence without taking any red capsules, you will pop Winners Don't Do Drugs.
Trophy. Oh, there we go. Yeah, winners don't do drugs. There we go, guys.
Continue playing the game until you reach the main hall in the Otherworld, and then you will need to reveal this secret pathway on the second story in the room that has the broken floor to find your next trophy. Once you enter this new area, I went up the stairs to grab the Hote-sama, popping the trophy, Treasured Belonging. I then solved the Crimson puzzle here, which sets up for ending 3 and 4 and will carry over between playthroughs.
Dude, I swear to God, I did that order before. You guys saw, I fucking did that order before.
If you've been picking up all the collectibles and New Game Plus collectibles throughout this playthrough, you will find the last Diary of Revenge in the Shimizu residence, which will pop the trophy, Fate of the Apostate.
Talking about, oh, let's go.
Naturally, you will end up picking up all of the inventory items if you are keeping track of all the collectibles, which popped Fervent Collector for me here. Back at the trophy hall, I picked up the last of the housemaid's notes, popping The Truth About the Tsuneki Family. Opened the last Inari door for Inari-sama's secrets, and then finished the Inari puzzle, choosing the correct doors this time, unlocking Sly Like a Fox.
Oh my god, dude. Like, so low IQ.
You can play up until the final boss, who is completely different now, and in order to unlock the missable trophy here, you need to defeat him without getting hit by any arrows, which are these bright yellow things floating around him. Keep replaying this fight if you take damage at any point. After doing this successfully, I unlocked Puppet Master.
Yes!
Finishing the fight will then end the game, which for me popped ending number 2's Fox Wedding Trophy, as well as Puzzle Master for playing on Lost in the Fog difficulty.
Oh yeah, okay, so we got Fox's Wedding ending, and the Puzzle Master.
And now, that brings us to the great thing about the UFO playthrough is that it can be triggered very early in the game, as long as you listen to the radio broadcast during this chapter, and then find the 3 movie posters in Ebisugaoka Visit Number 3. First, we played through the Fog Monster Chase in Chapter 1 and got the trophy that I somehow missed in the first 2 playthroughs.
There we go.
Playing forward a little bit, we find the radio broadcast, the movie posters in Ebisugaoka Visit Number 3, right after the Sakuko fight, and then read the movie review sitting in front of the general store to pop the UFO ending. I'd like to note this by saying this ending can be save scummed and you can just reload a save and continue playing after this, but I started my playthrough from the start so that I would get to use the laser sword that you get from completing this ending. And now that brings us to I did not pop any other trophies until I got all the way up to the worship hall, where I was able to pick up the rest of the Sakuko and Rinko diary entries, popping both A Miko Possessed and Fires of Jealousy. Please also note that these documents cannot be completed until New Game Plus 2. After returning once again to Ebisugaoka, we made our way back to the 100-year cedar and picked up the sacred sword, since we did the 5 Jizo statues in playthrough number 2. We can then continue through Ebisugaoka visit number 5, and here we can find our last clinical trial document.
Nice. Last clinical trial document.
Just a little farther in, and I was able to purchase the last Omamori from the Faith Shop by the time I was at the Shimizu residence. Now that I had all of the Omamoris, this is the build that I ended up running to get me through Lost in the Fog action difficulty. From this point, I played up all the way until the final boss, who was a much different fight. Instead of summoning arrows, this boss would summon dark versions of all of the monsters we have fought throughout the game. For this boss fight, in order to unlock the missable trophy, you need to kill every minion he summons before ultimately killing him. Doing so will pop Fox Tamer, and then the corresponding ending trophy, the Fox What's His Tail, as well as my 2 difficulty trophies, Clear Skies and Intellectual Pursuits, thus finishing all of the difficulty-based trophies for this run.
Nice. I think the true ending is considered to be the good ending. I still got 1, 2, complete the game while lost in the fog difficulty, and puzzles.
This allows us to play on story mode for the final playthrough, which makes the trophy linked to this final boss much easier later on. And this finally brings us to In playthrough 5, you won't pop any trophies for a while, so you can just play naturally until you reach the second visit of Ebisugaoka. Since I have picked up the Sacred Sword before, its new spawn point for me is where the second Jizo statue was, right about here on the map. You will need this sword for the 4th ending. A couple hours fly by and I just happened to pop the final grind trophy for getting the last upgrade in the shrine. Just based on what difficulty you play and how many resources you sell, you might pop this trophy at a different time than me, so don't be worried about popping it at the same time I do.
Nice.
Playing forward a little more, in the chapter directly after defeating the boss version of Rinko, you need to make your way over to this area, which I believe is northeast of Shu's house, to purify the sword. Since we did the Crimson puzzle in a previous playthrough, this option is now available, satisfying the second to last requirement for ending 4 and popping the trophy, Be Free of Your Hatred. You will play for a little bit longer until you have the objective of returning back to the Shimizu residence, where you will stop at this location right before your house to offer up your brooch from ending number 1, satisfying your last requirement for ending number 4 and popping the trophy, A Gift I Cannot Accept. You are now in the final stretch, and all you need to do is play up until the final boss, once again where you will fight a super cool mix between the boss from ending 2 and ending 3. There is one missable trophy here that is made much easier because we are playing on the story difficulty, and it is to win this fight in under 10 minutes. To be honest, I made a lot of mistakes during this fight, but I was still able to beat it by around the 6-minute mark, so I have complete faith that you'd be able to do it too.
Hey, we got it. Within 10 minutes.
As long as you pop this last trophy, there will only be one trophy left, which is the ending. So immediately after watching the true ending, they should pop Ebisugaoka in silence, earning you the platinum trophy, I Still Have Wings.
Pop, it's gonna pop! Yes! Yes! And then, we got it. I Still Have Wings. Obtained all trophies.
Congratulations! I have to say, I usually dread replaying games this much for platinums, but I genuinely enjoyed this one all the way throughout, and I was extremely happy to have done it. If I had to give this game a platinum difficulty rating, I would give this a 4 out of 10 difficulty score. With the platinum in hand, I'd like to say thank you guys so much if you ended up sticking through this far with me, and if you're watching on YouTube. If you found any part of this video helpful or enjoyable to you, please consider liking the video, subscribing to my YouTube channel, as well as my Twitch or TikTok, which I will link below. I stream all of these platinum runs live almost every day. I'm still a brand new channel and I would like to make my videos better in the future, so please let me know in the comments if you have any feedback, such as if you prefer long format videos like this, or if shorter is more enjoyable. Lastly, please recommend me any other games you would like to see me platinum. I have scheduled myself to platinum games like Ghost of Yotei and Ninja Gaiden 4 when they release, but I am of course open to all genres. That's it for this video. Catch you guys on the next platinum.